are here from China and from Pakistan. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here at the opening of the 5th CPEC Media Forum, which we have organized, the Pakistan-China Institute, together with the Embassy of the People's Republic of China. And I'm very grateful to Ambassador Yao Jing, a very dear and old friend of Pakistan, who is here on his 3rd assignment and who is returning for his home holidays tonight, but he said, I will specially come for the CPEC Media Forum. Thank you, Your Excellency, for that. I would also like to recognize Madame Meng Yu Hong, the Vice Editor-in-Chief of the Global Times, which is the leading English newspaper of China. On my right is a very dear friend and icon of the media and culture. I call him the culture czar of Pakistan, Mr. Hamid Haroon, Chief Executive of Dawn. And he is also here as a China specialist. He studied Chinese in Harvard. In the days when I was studying Chinese foreign policy in Georgetown in Washington, he was studying Chinese. And he is on art and cultural heritage. There is no bigger expert in the region in South Asia than Mr. Hamid Haroon. And he will be making his remarks later this afternoon at the afternoon session. And I would also like to especially warmly welcome our good friend and the chief guest on the occasion, Senator Shibli Faraz. He is the leader of the House. And he's also here in a cultural capacity because his DNA, his genes have Mr. Ahmed Faraz Sahab, one of the great poets of the South Asian subcontinent in the Urdu. China of the so-called Red China, the China of Chairman Mao. And so he is his distinguished son and a very dear colleague. On his left is Senator Javed Abbasi, one of the distinguished parliamentary leaders of Pakistan, and he's the chairman of the Law and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. And he's an old China friend because when we went for the dialogue with the Chinese Communist Party on CPEC, he was one of the members along with myself. Then our partners in China, the China Economic Net, their old friend of Pakistan, Professor Tang Mengsheng from Peking University. और उर्दू के माहिर हैं, उर्दू के specialist हैं, पाकिस्तान के पुराने दरीन. It's a pleasure to be here, and on this media forum we have a very distinguished delegation from China, an 11-member delegation which has come, and I mentioned the senior leaders here. There are other distinguished friends also from China and from Pakistan, media leaders from both sides. CPEC, when it was launched, we said that one of the important challenges of CPEC would be media management. How to present that, because the initiative that emerged, without doubt, the most important diplomatic and developmental initiative of the 21st century, connecting countries, continents, and cultures of Asia, Africa, Middle East, Latin America, Europe, West, through corridors of commerce and culture. And this linkage, and the flagship of that is जो उनकी सोच थी चीन के सदर की बेल्ट एंड रोड इनिशिएटिव के हवाले में, जो सबसे बड़ा इनिशिएटिव है 21वीं सदी का, उसका एक सतून है, उसका एक महवर है. And we are very grateful to China because when CPEC was launched, no country, whether Western country or even frankly Pakistan, is unstable. There is terrorism. This area is very fragile, and our friend, time-tested friend, our iron brother, our strategic partner, reposed a vote of confidence in the future of Pakistan, in the people of Pakistan, through the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which now totals about $60 billion. So ये चीन की तरफ से पाकिस्तान के मुस्तकबिल के ऊपर एक एतमाद का वोट, पाकिस्तान के रोशन मुस्तकबिल के हवाले से, कि लोगों ने कहा कि ये दहशतगर्दी है, मुश्किलात हैं. And today CPEC is a success story. I remember when it started off, some friends of mine, and they were leading economists, they said, Mr. Mushahid Hussain, we know you went to China when you were a teenager. I went there when I was 16 or 17 years old. China, I've seen the China of Chairman Mao, the China of Deng Xiaoping, and the China of Xi Jinping. I went there in the 70s when there was a cultural revolution, and since then I've made over 90 visits in the last 40, 45 years. And I've seen China's transformation. They said it's not possible to have such a large project in such a short time in Pakistan because of bureaucracy, red tape, difficult conditions. The people of Pakistan, the people of China, our two states, have proven them wrong. CPEC today is a success story. Out of 22 early harvest projects, 13 have been completed, 9 are nearing completion on schedule. Yesterday we had a project assessment of Port Qasim built by Power China, which is a success story because Power China, one of the biggest power companies of China, came to Pakistan and started the first power project, 1,320 megawatts in Port Qasim, which I personally visited also along with the parliamentary delegation. It is there. So aapke samne hai ye results. But when we talk of CPEC, I also want to mention the challenges to CPEC. There are forces. CPEC के हवाले से कुछ कुव्वतें हैं जो पाकिस्तान चीन दोस्ती में दरार डालना चाहते हैं. कुछ कुव्वतें हैं जो CPEC को कामयाब नहीं देखना चाहते इस खित्ते में और बाहर. लेकिन हमारी जो साबित करनी है चाइना के साथ ताल्लुक के हवाले से, जो 60-65 साल पुरानी है, उसने साबित कर लिया कि ये इसको आगे लेके चलेंगे. And one example of those who have reservations, and I was just coming this morning and I was seeing my internet and I was seeing a speech made by the US Acting Secretary of State, Alice Wells, in Washington at a think tank. I think it was a Wilson Center. And it's very interesting. She spoke on CPEC last night. So, and I was just going through the speech, which is, she tried to criticize CPEC on a number of counts. The old argument of debt trap, although 1% of all of Pakistan's debts are due to other countries, multilateral organizations, not to China. Then she talked of also the costs, although the projects are on ground and the results are before you. Especially you can see there is no load shedding and energy crisis in the country. And then she also talked about, and it was false allegations that perhaps there are allegations of corruption on CPEC projects. There has been investigation of previous governments by the Pakistan authorities. Not one example of any corruption of any CPEC project has been there. और जो अमेरिका की नायब वज़ीर ख़ारजा है, एलिस वेल्स, उन्होंने कल रात को तकरीर की है वाशिंगटन में, और तकरीर का उनका मौजू था एक थिंक टैंक में, वुड्रो विल्सन सेंटर में, CPEC, और उसमें उन्होंने तनकीद की है. तनकीद की क्या बुनियाद है? एक उन्होंने कहा कि ये कर्जा चढ़ाएगा पाकिस्तान का, हालांकि पाकिस्तान का 91%, 90% से ज़्यादा कर्जा जो है उस चाइना से ताल्लुक़ नहीं है, वो मगरबी दुनिया से है, दूसरे इदारों से है, मल्टीलैटरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से है. फिर उन्होंने बेबुनियाद इल्ज़ामात लगाने की कोशिश की है कि शायद कुछ करप्शन के एलिगेशंस भी आए हैं CPEC प्रोजेक्ट्स में, हालांकि कोई ऐसे एलिगेशंस नहीं आए. नैब ने इंजर पिंजर कर लिया है पिछली हुकूमत के कायदीन का, लोगों का, प्रोजेक्ट्स का. एक धेले की करप्शन किसी CPEC प्रोजेक्ट में अभी तक नहीं आई जो नैब ने इन्वेस्टिगेट की हो या चाइना की तरफ से कोई चीज़ की गई. और फिर उन्होंने ये भी कहा है कि एक अमेरिकन मॉडल है, एक चाइनीज मॉडल है. एंड Alice Wells has also mentioned a very interesting point, that there is an American model and there is a Chinese model. And she said the American model has much to offer. Ms. Alice Wells forgets that Pakistan-China relations are very old, and so are Pakistan-American relations. Very old. In fact, Pakistan-American relations are older than Pakistan-China relations in terms of strategic link. We have the experience of both. So we can speak with some authority on both these issues. China as a country has stood by Pakistan through thick and thin. And it is the only country which has provided assistance to Pakistan without any political conditions. किसी सियासी दबाव के बगैर, किसी सियासी कंडीशंस के बगैर उन्होंने ये इमदाद दी हमें। और करप्शन की जो बात करते हैं, when we hear of corruption from our American friends about Chinese projects in Pakistan, I wish they would, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. America has pumped in almost $1 trillion in Afghanistan. Please see the reports of the Special Inspector General on Afghanistan Reconstruction, SIGAR, what they have said. And I have this copy of this report which was issued 2 years ago, how they said that the US itself contributed to corruption in Afghanistan. How there have been other allegations they are investigating in their own country. And the most important thing, when the US policymakers criticize CPEC and the Belt and Road Initiative, अंग्रेजी का मुहावरा है, imitation is the highest form of flattery. कि अगर किसी चीज़ की आप नकल मारने की कोशिश करें, इसका मतलब उस चीज़ में कुछ अच्छी बात होगी कि नकल मारेंगे. I was in Washington last week, addressing some think tanks, meeting some members of Congress, senators, and I was pleasantly surprised that there is a copycat project in America. It's called BUILD. I think very few people know that. Better utilization of investments leading to development, BUILD, BUILD Act, which is modeled on the Belt and Road Initiative with $60 billion, which the United States has launched. And it's going to be on infrastructure and other areas. So this is following what President Xi Jinping did, what China did. And it's very interesting that now they're criticizing China for that, which they themselves are doing. और वो अमेरिका वही काम कर रहा है जो चीन ने शुरू किया था 5 साल पहले. मैं पिछले हफ्ते वाशिंगटन था, वहाँ उन्होंने बताया कि एक नया उन्होंने कानून पास किया है अक्टूबर में, उसका नाम है बिल्ड, बेटर यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट्स लीडिंग टू डेवलपमेंट, BUILD, और एक इदारा बना दिया है उन्होंने, इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल डेवलपमेंट कोऑपरेशन, IFDC, जैसे चाइना ने बनाया है एशिया इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बैंक, AIBB, उन्होंने भी इन्वेस्टमेंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बैंक उन्होंने भी बनाया है, और $60 अरब उन्होंने उसके लिए किए हैं. तो हम समझते हैं कि चाइना का तजर्बा हमारे सामने है. हम चाइना के बड़े ममनून हैं कि उन्होंने उस वक्त हमारी इमदाद की जब कोई आने को तैयार नहीं था. और उससे पहले ये CPEC तो अब शुरू हुआ है, बल्कि हम कहेंगे CPEC 1 जो था 60s और 70s की बात कर रहा हूँ, फील्ड मार्शल अयूब खान के ज़माने में, भुट्टो साहब के ज़माने में, जनरल ज़िया के ज़माने में, आप देखें हैवी मैकेनिकल कॉम्प्लेक्स, हैवी इंडस्ट्रियल HIT जो था टेक्सला का, कामरा, ऑल द basis of heavy industry in Pakistan, and self-reliance in arms production was thanks to China. JF-17 China-Pakistan co-production है, submarines China-Pakistan co-production है, Khalid tank China-Pakistan co-production है in all 3 services. So we feel that this criticism is uncalled for, and we in Asia reject any notion of any new Cold War or any clash of civilizations, because Asia has to move forward. And the 2 models are very clear. Last year, in November 2018, there was a report by the American university, Brown University, which talked of the American spending after 9/11. $5.9 trillion on the so-called war on terror, where Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya, all these countries have been either destabilized or damaged or destroyed. The Belt and Road Initiative gives a different vision of win-win cooperation, of connectivity, of inclusiveness, of carrying everybody together. And it talks of spending on infrastructure over $1 trillion. And today, when a train leaves London, it reaches China in 14 days. That is what is connectivity all about. And that is why in Pakistan, we are very pleased that today, thanks to CPEC, thanks to the Belt and Road Initiative, we are at the hub of regional connectivity, linking South Asia, Gulf, Iran, Afghanistan, Central Asia, China together. And this connectivity driven by energy and economy, ports and pipelines, roads and railways. And we are very clear, CPEC is above any political party, above any province, above any government. It is a national strategic project in which all political parties in Pakistan, whether they are in the opposition, whether they are in the government, are united. We were in Beijing on 18th of March for the joint consultation mechanism, PTI, PMLN, PPP, and 8 other parties. And everybody had a unanimous declaration on support to CPEC. So that is because we see CPEC as a guarantor for a better tomorrow. And now, after the completion of the first phase, the second phase is already underway. And we feel that second phase, the best of CPEC is yet to come. And that will lead to better progress. 70,000 Pakistanis already have jobs. The issue of load shedding has been resolved. Connectivity is being promoted. Dead projects like Gwadar Port and Thar Coal have been revived. So it is thanks to CPEC that the image of Pakistan has changed, that other countries, even like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, are now wanting to invest in Gwadar. And I've been meeting as chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee ambassadors from European countries. They've been coming to me that they want to be part of CPEC. We welcome that because CPEC is inclusive. It's not exclusive. It's not just about China and Pakistan. It's a broader initiative, a regional and a global initiative. So we are very grateful to the media who are here. So the biggest challenge is fake news, shifting fact from fiction and stating the facts. And the facts speak louder than any other negativity or propaganda. So on that note, I would like to close, and I feel that we will have good deliberations today. The first session would be people on the podium, and then about 12:30, today is the Friday, people will break for prayers and lunch, and then at 2 o'clock we'll resume, where Mr. Hamid Haroon, others will also be there to speak on challenges about CPEC and how to take CPEC forward, and especially the role of media from China and Pakistan working together for the common good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hafiz Tahir? Good idea.
Senator
Every time national anthem was played after, there won't be a better version.
चीन से आए हुए मेहमान साथियों, मेरे कोलीग्स और शुरका, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आज जब प्रेसिडेंट डेंग ज़ियाओपिंग उनसे हमारी मुलाकात हुई थी और चाइना की पूरी क़यादत हुई थी, उस वक्त का चाइना जो प्रेसिडेंट डेंग ज़ियाओपिंग ने जो तस्वुर दिया था, आज प्रेसिडेंट शी जिनपिंग उसको लेकर बहुत तेज़ी के साथ आगे बढ़े हैं और इस लिहाज से ये चीन की कौम और चीन की हुकूमत जो है वो बार-बार मुस्तहिक है। खातिन व हज़रात, आज का दिन मेरे नज़दीक
his visit to China in 1974 as member of a delegation led by Begum Nusrat Bhutto, the wife of then President Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. His father, Mr. Ahmed Faraz, was also a member. And they went and they were received by Deng Xiaoping in 1974.
Thank you.
Beijing.
आज का दिन मेरे नज़दीक हकीकत में एक मुसद्दत मौका है कि पाक चीन इक़्तिसादी राहदारी CPEC का ख्वाब चंद वक्त पहले देखा गया, वो तेज़ी से आगे बढ़ रहा है और अब इसके दूसरे पुष्पुल मरहले का भी आगाज़ हो चुका है।
4次参议员、穆沙希德参议员、尊敬的姚静大使、各位嘉宾、各位媒体同行。
Leader of the House, Mr. Zahid, strongly for us to pay the visit to Pakistan, during which time the leaders of both countries have reached consensus on enhancing the exchanges between the media of the two countries. In this condition, CPEC Media Forum came into being. After 5 years of governance, this forum has grown into an indispensable exchange platform for the Chinese and Pakistan media with biggest influence and most remarkable achievements.
本届论坛呢，得到了中方媒体的高度重视，代表来自中国最大的几家媒体，包括人民日报、新华社、中央广播电视总台、光明日报、经济日报等。发展的另一个重要的经验就是经济开发区的建设，资源节约、政策优惠、产业链接构成了开发区的优势。我们也期待着瓜达尔自由区、拉沙卡伊特殊经济区等在巴经济发展中发挥越来越重要的作用。
Another major experience in China's economic development lies in its construction of economic zones, featuring concentrated resources, preferential policies, and a complete industrial chain. We are expecting that water free zone and Russia-Kai special economic zone will play an essential role in Pakistan's economic growth.
这个走廊的顺利推进啊，需要良好的舆论环境。去年伊布拉罕总理
as earlier mentioned by Senator Mushahid Hussain, and this segregation is mentioned on the slide. And the biggest portfolio will be around $33 billion once it will be completed. This is the phase. And the second part of this phase one is infrastructure, including roads, optical fiber, orange line, and the ML1, and including the basic infrastructure of Gwadar Port. And in second phase, these 4 new interventions have been made recently. This cooperation is mentioned support for the whole portfolio picture, which is around $33 billion. Have been completed yet, with the addition of 5,320 megawatt, with the cost of around $8 billion. And the 8 projects are in the pipeline, including the recent one, which is 300 megawatt coal-fired power plant. They are under construction, and these will be completed by 2021. And then the 4 projects are under plan with the addition of 2,544 megawatt, and the remaining portion, which is around 4,700 megawatt, which is under consideration. And the recent JWG on energy has passed this resolution. The new projects will be based on hydro and renewable energy.
My Chinese colleagues, Mr. Sun, Madame Mo, and other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to express my sincere appreciation and thanks for the Pakistan-China Institute and the China Economic Net for your organization for this 5th Media Forum of CPEC. And also I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to the media friends from both China and Pakistan for your attention to the Sino-Pak relations, for your attention to the CPEC. Today's forum, I think that I was supposed to talk about the media's role in promoting state-to-state relations, the media's role in consolidating China-Pak friendship. But I think still that the media of Pakistan and China has played a very positive and a very, very important role in this regard. Right now, media is a major vehicle of information. It is a major vehicle of perception. It's also a major platform of interaction. When we are watching TV programs, when we are reading newspapers, when we are, of course, talking with the interviewers, I think that we are getting information. We are sharing information. But more importantly, we are also get perceptions, conceptions from these interactions. your point of view, your report of the facts, your understanding of the truth matter to us, especially for the governments, for the state organizations, and even for the business communities. But unfortunately, just now, the Senator Mushahid Hussain, you mentioned that a Deputy Assistant Secretary of the State Department of the United States, early this morning, local time, she was talking about CPEC in Washington. And she's also using this media that trying to transfer or convey her messages, her perceptions, her facts, and the so-called her truth about CPEC. I would like to say that I was shocked, surprised to hear her elaborations. And I thank Senator Mushahid Hussain. You have, through your point of view, that made your points and opinions very clear. But I think right now, since I have this opportunity, so I would like to also elaborate a little more about my understanding and my opinions about her, I should say, a kind of propaganda and incitement. She was talking about our CPEC cooperations. But I would like to say, first, the CPEC is supported by the two governments, two leaderships from both China and Pakistan. Last month, when the Prime Minister Imran Khan visited China, he told our leaders that CPEC is the top priority of Pakistan's government. The Chinese President Xi said that the Chinese government will, as always, attach the great importance for the success of the CPEC. So from both the governments of China and Pakistan, we still have our top priority, and we have no differences in implementing and further moving forward the CPEC projects. Second, so far as the briefing by the PCI, for your kind of information, you can see that a lot of achievements have already been made for the economic development. Apart from the examples made by the briefing just now, I would like to also say, give some kind of figures about the, for example, Ambassador Alice Wells was talking about the debt. But right now, during your negotiation with the International Monetary Fund, the biggest creditor is Paris Club, is the Western creditors, it's not China. And if all the media, you are following that all these kind of economic news, have you ever found out any occasion that the Chinese government came to China, ask you to pay back our money? China will never ask for this kind of repayment. As long as you are in need, the money is in house. Talking about our loans, talking about aids. I think loans, the United States is the biggest loan taker from the world. Even China gives him their credit about $3 trillion US. They are extending aid to all the countries, including Pakistan. But I would like to ask them why you are suspending this assistance for your political purposes. Aid is a means for economic cooperation. And China's never shy off providing aid to aid our partners, Pakistan included. I still remember in 2005, when Pakistan was suffering the biggest earthquake, China was the first to send its rescue teams. The first donation was reached Pakistan. And also remember 2008, when China suffered biggest ever earthquake. It was Pakistan gave us the largest amount of relief. So this aid is mutual. It's mutual. No country should broad about this aid unilateral, but we pay more attention as your government that it is not aid. I think it is trade. We should help to build the export capacity of Pakistan's business, Pakistan's factories. So CPEC is meant to build the capacity of your manufacturing, of your export, of your capability to earn more foreign exchange reserves. So as the briefs by the PCI said, the next stage of the CPEC will go to the industry cooperation. We have established this business forum that will be including about 24 of leading both Chinese and Pakistani companies who are the leading exporters, who are the leading manufacturers of the both countries. We will put them as partners and to boost your export, to boost your manufacturing. Even we will share the market internationally by these private sectors. The Ambassador Alice Wells also was talking about the high electricity tariff by the CPEC power plants. She's talking about the information transparency or sharing. I also was a little surprised because during my tenure this time, for the past 2 years, I had 2 meetings at least in Islamabad with her. And in 2 meetings, I was briefing her. I was sharing all the information about CPEC, about China-PAC relationship. If she's interested, she's most welcome to come to here again, to interact with us, to visit CPEC projects, instead of talking about CPEC thousands of miles away with no knowledge of what's happening here. For example, this tariff, she was saying that the Chinese power plant under the CPEC give the highest tariff or price of electricity. Please, I would like to invite her to visit your website, the website of Pakistan's CPPA. There is a listing of all the power tariffs provided by the power plants in Pakistan. There are totally 131 power plants who are providing electricity to your national grid. And the 2 power plants under the CPEC, I will give you the listing on the website. Port Qasim, Power China, you are listing on 127th. That is the 4th from the bottom. They are giving the cheapest tariffs to their national grid. Another power plant under the CPEC, Sahiwal power plant, the list is 115. Also among the bottom, among the least, most affordable. But I would like to also invite Ambassador Alice Wells' attention that when you are talking about investment power plant, when the Pakistani government in 2013 offered this upfront tariff policy for power plants, where was America? Why you don't come to invest and help us, Pakistan, to build more power plants? It might be easy in talking about that the CPEC when you don't have any kind of accurate information about the projects. It might be easy for you to accuse some kind of so-called corruption among the projects. She cited the M5, that is the motorway from Sakar to Multan. It is a part of the Pakistan Peshawar and PKM, Karachi motorway. There were quite a lot of allegations or media reports about the corruption about that. But I have discussed this project with your NAB. I discussed this project with your Ombudsman's office. I have discussed this project with all of your relevant government ministries and agencies. So far, there's no evidence of any kind of corrupt activities engaged in this project. And I was told by your government, by Pakistan government, CPEC is clean. So I also would like to remind my American colleagues, if you are really making this kind of allegation, please be careful. Show your evidence. Give me evidence. We will take action. Because I believe both the Pakistan and the Chinese government, we are determined in anti-corruption. Also, we're talking about the ML1, the main line, the railway project. Yes, sorry that the briefing also talked about that the cost of this M1 project is around $9 billion. For media, I think that I have no complaint because this is the assessment of this project. But for a government official, a high-level government official of the State Department of the United States, it is not proper for her to comment or to elaborate her official positions based on the media report. Have the Americans approached us or approached the Pakistani government to check the real cost of this project? So far, I can say I am not clear about the real cost of ML1. Why? Because it is under discussion. We start this project negotiation or discussion since about 3 years ago between the two railway ministries. And the two railway ministries have finalized their technical cooperation plan, technology, equipment, technical, and the implementation stages. This plan has been finalized in this April. And this plan was studied and also supervised by Canadian companies. There are two Canadian companies are supervising of this project. So it is objective. Then when the technical plan or the technical package is finalized, right now we are moving into the second stage of the financial package. And our financial experts have yet started to discuss about the real cost and the financial package. And the just concluded 9th JCC meeting just announced to start this discussion. So 9 billion is okay, 8 billion is okay, 7 billion is okay. But if you are citing these media reports as your policy basis or your policy foundations to say that China's project is costly, I won't accept it. They were talking about labor, Chinese labor here. They're talking about the less work employment job opportunities under the CPEC for the Pakistanis. We have just have the latest calculation or the statistics. right now under the more than 20 projects, more than 75,000 direct employers are working with the Chinese. Indirectly, more than 200,000 Pakistani local employment has been given to them. More than 100 local Pakistani companies are cooperating, working, partnering with the Chinese companies for the CPEC projects. And according to our plan, the midterm and long terms, from 2015 to 2030, if the CPEC projects will be fully implemented, we will create about 2.3 million employment opportunities for Pakistan. And the contribution for the GDP of Pakistan will be around 2 to 2.5%. It is easy also to comment that China is trying to provide a kind of model, and the United States is providing a kind of model. A lot of American investment here. I think I would like to more than happy to see more investment from the United States to Pakistan. And the Pakistani government is working very hard for ease of doing business. I think Pakistan is not only an opportunity to China, it should be an opportunity to the world, American included. However, if you look at the Americans' business performance now, when we are expecting if the American can provide a kind of leadership for the international trade and business cooperation, unfortunately, I see the protectionism. I see this doctrine of American first. I see this kind of unilateralism. I see this tariff prohibition measures. Where does America want to lead the world to? Win-win cooperation, mutual beneficial. I think the Ambassador Alice was cited a lot of times. I would like to still want to make it clear, win-win cooperation, mutually beneficial. This is still the need of the times, the need of the current world. When America is no more in a position to provide a convincing model, they should think about some alternatives. They should think about some kind of the real needs of this world, the real needs of the world. China is not going to pose any kind of models to any country. The CPEC, Belt and Road Initiative, our principles are based on mutual consultation, mutual construction, and mutual benefit. We count on our partners to implement this project. We count on our partners to decide the project. We count on our partners to manage it. The partners have a lot of more than enough participation in implementing the BRI projects. So that is the reason why more than 170 partners are with China, not with the United States. I think the world belongs to the humans, our human beings. This is a global village. We should have less rivalries. We should have less suspicion. We should have less confrontation. United States, as the only superpower, you have every responsibility for the peace, stability, prosperity of the world. However, when you are becoming a kind of complainer every day, we don't see this kind of leadership. So I think the developing countries, other members of the international community, when we still have the faith in the international system, when we still have the faith in the international justice, when we still have the faith for international institutions, then I think reason should matter. Logic should matter. And I will assure all the media friends present today, the Chinese government and the people still hold CPEC as a priority for China and Pakistan's cooperation. And I still also more than confident the Pakistani government and the people, in particular the media friends, you will see the facts, you will see the truth of the CPEC, and finally you will see the benefit of the CPEC cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Yao Jing. It was a very clear enunciation of facts as opposed to the fiction or propaganda being peddled by the policymakers. I think there's this concern, but as a form of imitation, highest form of flattery is imitation. And if America is trying to do a copycat project with the BUILD Act based on the Belt and Road Initiative, that shows that it's already a success story, not just of CPEC, but the Belt and Road Initiative, and that has a resonance. And as you said, we welcome American investment in Pakistan and even in CPEC projects. They have General Electric turbines in power plants, so GE is already giving that.
Half of the generators by.
So I thank you for your very good presentation. Madam Mang.
Ambassador of China and a very dear friend, Mr. Yao Jing, Senator Mushahid Hussain, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and of course our friends from media. It's a moment of honor for me to speak at this prestigious forum, 5th China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Media Forum. CPEC, the second phase, organized by Pakistan-China Institute under the able chairmanship of our most outstanding Senator Mushahid Hussain. And many a times I wonder that if we did not have people like Mushahid Hussain, so what would we be doing? I mean, he's an amazing guy, full of energy, full of wit, full of rigor, vibrant, and is always on the forefront when it comes to all such important occasions, and especially his institute's contribution to this so very important CPEC in particular and our friendship with China in general. So I must comment his, at a personal level and at the government level, his contributions that he keeps on making very regularly.
Thank you so much.
Well, CPEC, ladies and gentlemen, is the project of peace and sustainable development which will transform each and every region and province of Pakistan. This will also have a far-reaching impact on our neighboring countries, including Iran, Afghanistan, and Central Asia. The connectivity vision of President Xi in his Belt and Road Initiative is being realized through Gawada. Gawada is the gateway and jewel of CPEC, and today it is witnessing most rapid development in its history, and the development of Gawada is positively transforming the lives of people of Balochistan. The development of Gawada port is going to positively transform the trade and commerce in the whole region. Ladies and gentlemen, Gawada port will connect region's land and maritime route, which will benefit the entire region and beyond. The ensuing investment and economic activity is, inshallah, not only going to make Gawada a modern smart port city with a new airport and a deep sea port. This will have a positive impact on neighboring districts as well. The Gawada port and the free zone projects are demonstration of the time-tested friendship between Pakistan and China. This friendship has withstood the test of time and has now transformed into a stronger economic partnership. Gawada is the top priority of the incumbent government, and at this important juncture, we are grateful to the people of China and the Chinese government for supporting Pakistan in its quest for economic growth, and the Chinese working towards development of Pakistan are our heroes, and he is the most important hero we have. Ladies and gentlemen, moreover, I can't leave the stage without mentioning the 5 years consecutive efforts of Pakistan-China Institute to hold the CPEC Media Forums in China and Pakistan to promote the national cause between China and Pakistan under the chairmanship of Senator Mushahid Hussain. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan-China Institute is a frontline promoter for the essential two-sided bond between China and Pakistan, and within a short span, it has arisen as a sound organization in both countries and a founding entity with different segments of both civilization turn to for the guidance, assistance, and knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, in the end, I wish Pakistan-China Institute, PSI, all the best for all their upcoming CPEC Media Forums and initiatives. Thanks for giving me occasion to address the event. Pakistan Zindabad, Pak-China Friendship, Paindabad.
Thank you very much, Senator Mushahid Hussain, and thank you for your very kind words about the Pakistan-China Institute. It's a pleasure, and thank you again.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we will be distributing the Golden Anchor Award for Journalism and Communication at CPEC. All the nominees are recommended by the Pakistan-China Society as journalists of high in China.
Very senior journalist. Years ago, we were together.
The second winner is Mr. Experience of over 20 years. The third winner is also the founder of Diplomat Magazine, which focuses on CPEC and China-Pakistan bilateral relations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Chinese and Pakistani media to the first hand investigation and research in the front line. He worked in Pakistan for 5 years and completed the development of the first 5 years of the CPEC. His newly launched book, Iron Buddies, The Code of Understanding Pakistan in the CPEC Era. The chief correspondent of the Streamer News in Islamabad. And lastly, I will request